I'm Lisa Bustos over at Bustos Family Law, and me and my team are here to guide our clients through some of the most difficult times in their life and guide them towards a brighter future. Now today I want to talk to you a little bit about spousal support and what that looks like. I often have clients who come into my office and they are planning their divorce and they want to look at what their financial future will look like. So a lot of times that involves, will I be paying spousal support or will I be able to receive spousal support? A lot of people have a lot of different ideas of what the laws are, but the law is the law, and today I'm going to go over that a little bit with you. So under Texas law, the courts are able and authorized to order something called spousal maintenance. Now, in order to qualify for spousal maintenance, there are some pretty strict requirements, which we will go over today. So the first requirement is that you have been married for 10 years or more and you cannot meet your minimum reasonable needs. Now, that is a bit of a mouthful, and I'm going to say it a few times in this video, so it's going to kind of come out weird, but you will hear that term often. So you've been married 10 years and you cannot meet your minimum reasonable needs. The second one is if you are caring for a disabled child and because of that care, you cannot meet, guess what? Your minimum reasonable needs. And the third one is if you yourself as a spouse are disabled and because of that disability cannot meet your minimum reasonable needs. And the fourth one is if you have, if the paying spouse, so the person who would be ordered to pay spousal support, has been convicted or has received a deferred adjudication for family violence within 2 years of filing the divorce, they can be ordered to pay spousal support to their spouse who may have been the victim of that family violence. So most people who come to my office, they usually have questions because they've been married 10 years or longer and they want to know, do I qualify because I don't meet my minimum reasonable needs or because of some other reason. So if you've been married 10 years or longer and you cannot meet those needs, there are some limits to the time limits, to the term limits of how long you can get paid. So if you've been married between 10 and 20 years, the maximum amount of time that a court can order for you to be paid is 5 years. If you've been married 20 to 30 years, the maximum amount of time is 7 years. And if you've been married 30 years or longer, 30 to 100 or however long, the maximum amount of time the court can order is 10 years. If you are disabled or caring for a disabled child, the maximum amount of time that a court can order your spousal support to be paid is not limited. It's only limited by your eligibility based on your disability. So you don't necessarily need to be married those minimum of 10 years. However, they're going to check in quite, maybe not quite often, but on occasion to see if your disability or your child's disability is still intact. And if there's family violence in your case and you are being paid spousal support because there's been family violence, the maximum amount of time that a court can order is 5 years. So you may be wondering, okay, I qualify, how much am I actually going to get paid? Well, the courts actually have some time limits and caps as to how much they can order, and it's going to be the lesser of $5,000 or 20% of the paying spouse's gross income. So whichever one of those numbers is less, and that's how much you can get paid monthly. If you're trying to determine whether or not you're going to be able to meet your minimum reasonable needs with or without spousal support, the court will take into consideration a few factors. So they'll look at the receiving spouse's education, what their work history is like, if they were the homemaker, if they cared for children, if there was fault in the marriage or bad behavior. The court will look at all of those and other factors. Now, your next question may be, can my spouse and I agree to something different? And the answer to that is absolutely. The court is very limited in what they can order, but you and your spouse can always agree to different payment terms, different amount terms, pretty much anything outside of this you and your spouse can agree to. So that is usually called contractual alimony, and that is going to be different than spousal maintenance because it differs in how the court can enforce that. With spousal maintenance, which is court ordered, the court can actually have an income withholding order to take from the paying spouse's paycheck every month. If it's contractual alimony, the court actually does not have the ability to do that, and they cannot enforce a contractual alimony payment by contempt, which means they can't threaten or put the paying spouse who's not paying, they cannot put that spouse in jail. So those are some things to consider as you're planning out your future and something you want to talk to your attorney about. We're here to provide some education for you and to help you along in your divorce. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. If you have ideas for our next video, put those in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.